how does an employer determine the appropriate preference category for their employee under the I-140?
Yeah, yeah. So as touched on a little bit before, right? Most attorneys will make the EB2 versus EB3 determination at the very early stages, right? Because it ends up defining our case strategy from the outset, right? So we want to understand, you know, does this person have a master's degree? Okay, if they don't, do they have a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of experience? Okay, if they don't, do they at the very least have a bachelor's degree, right? And that's how we kind of work our way to the EB2 versus EB3 determination, right? I would say 90% of the clients that I see have at least a bachelor's degree, so they would fall in the EB3 category. Or they might have a master's degree or a bachelor's degree plus 5 years of experience. They'll fall in the EB2 category, right? The sponsorship process for the EB2 and EB3 categories are nearly identical, right? Um, the difference, the main difference between the two are its basic, qualification requirements. And another difference between the two is the priority dates. EB3 tends to move along faster than EB2. Um, for China and India, where we see, a significant backlog, it's really only by a slight margin that EB3 tends to move along a little bit more quickly. I would say by about maybe 3 or 4 months, not more than that, right? So in terms of, considerations, those are the basic qualification requirements in terms of, how we make the determination of EB2 versus EB3. And let's say an employer mistakenly, categorizes an employee in EB2 when in fact they should have been EB3, right? From a
Mhm.
process perspective, you could be forced to start it all over again from the PWD stage, right? So, I've seen employers where, they'll maybe try to do this process on their own, and they'll fill out all the job requirements on the PWD, they'll get past recruitment and the perm, and then they get to the I-140 stage, which is 18 months later, and that's where USCIS is asking you, hey, does this person qualify for EB2 versus EB3? And they're in a bad spot because they never made that evaluation on the outset, right? They never made the determination of, like, does this require a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or is it bachelor's degree plus 5 years of experience? And you know where am I going to get the experience letters from if they have no work experience, right? So if you wait until the I-140 stage to make this determination, you can be in a really bad spot, where you might be forced to restart the process because the beneficiary's qualifications are often going to dictate the education requirements, the job requirements, or even the skills required for the role, right? And that's then going to determine or define your EB2 versus EB3 determination. So if you get any of that wrong and end up recruiting for a position that the beneficiary may not be qualified for, then that becomes a problem at this I-140 stage where USCIS is looking to understand what are the beneficiary's qualifications, what are his experiences, what are his education credentials, where you're not being asked that at the Department of Labor stage with the PWD and PERM. So a mistake like that can often, almost like snakes and ladders, right? Like it'll just put you back to square one. And that's a really tough spot for employers to be in because you've now just lost 14 to 18 months of processing time.
That can be a big loss, seriously, and it's going to harm the whole process and it's going to be restarted, a lot of waste of time and money and efforts as well. So thank you so much for answering.
Are you an IT consultant seeking a new opportunity? We offer job placement services for US citizens, green cards, EADs, and visa holders. We also sponsor various work visas like H-1B, E3, TN, and green cards. 20 plus years of experience in the industry. Exceptional employee benefits. Highly rated by our employees. Global presence with 200 plus recruiters and direct clients. Connect with us. Call us on the number 833-412-8472 or mail us at support@higheritpeople.com or visit our website www.higheritpeople.com.